Good morning, guys. Let's go check on our seedlings. So as you can see, coffee in hand, we're out here to check on our seeds. We do have some progress. Let's start this out. Nothing much with the loofahs yet, but on the Ford hooks, also nothing. Mustards are coming in strong. And we've even got some action here with the broccoli. We have some beans poking out. We did have somewhat of an incident, so as you can see, none of the bean containers are here along the back, like they were in the last video. So I've put them over here for the time being, just because we got some pretty hectic rain, and what it did was it washed off the soil on the top. Some of them are starting to sprout, so I'm just going to leave it. So every time there's like a threat of heavy rain, I come and I move these pots to this area over here underneath the umbrella. The plank is just to help maybe create more of a splash than a drip, so that these other containers' soil is not washed out either. If you look here, you can actually see on these trays, the back cell is very low. That same day we planted all these seeds, we got some of the heaviest rain, so I'm not surprised that we do have some coming up, but some that aren't. Just want to put my beverage down, and then I'll show you the seeds we planted when we direct sowed. As far as our directly sown things go, so far, this row of radishes has come up, nothing else. So if I just turn this way quickly, no carrots, no beans, no leeks yet. If we take a step over here to this side of the garden, we don't have any beans. That's not a surprise. I did plant them quite deep. And we may have, if you look very carefully, may have some lettuce coming up, but we can't be sure. Over here along the chicken coop, as you can see, a lot of our paprikas are ripening, so the plan is to come around today and harvest all of the ripe paprikas and string them so that they can dry slowly for us. The zucchini plants have finally settled and are starting to develop their fruits. This is a female plant. You can tell because you can physically see the fruit. And then if you look at the flower itself, on the inside, there is a much larger center, let's call it a stamen. I don't know what the real terminology or the correct terminology is. And this is the female plant, whereas the male plant has a very long, slender stem with a flower and a singular organ in the center. This zucchini plant is absolutely beasting it at the moment. Look at these guys. It's so exciting. And if we look right here, this is a male flower. So this is probably yesterday's flower. It's not looking like it's, or it looks like it's opened and closed already. As you can see, it has a long, skinny stem. And then if you look in the center of it, it has a singular stamen that is covered in pollen. And then here you have the female plant where you have the fruit. This is a pollinated fruit and it's spent flower. Alright, so I've brought along my harvest basket because there is some harvesting to do. But first I'm going on a bit of a mission to collect a couple of plants, and I think I'll just explain it as we go along. This is my plan. I would like to kickstart the homestead garden off in the best way I possibly can, and that may mean planting herbs. I am an advocate for growing herbs in your garden. It's probably where I would suggest most people start because it can save you a lot of money over the long run. They're productive. They add so much flavor to meals. You get a lot of bang for your buck. I have fully established plants here, so why not save myself a bit of money and dig out a part of it, put it in this container, and just travel it over there and plop it in the ground when we get there. So that'll be our first set of herbs. That is the marjoram. Right, for the next herbs I'm planning on taking, I would like to take out some of these garlic chives that are in this container. I did plant some garlic chive seeds the other day, but I really do want some more established plants because I think this will be a high impact move in the garden. It'll look as if we've achieved something. Right down here I've got a thyme plant. It has 2 or 3 separate stems, so I'm just going to try and, there we go, just dig one of those out so that can come with. And then this is some oregano, so again I'm just going to take a chunk of this. I am aiming for this section. That way they'll both have space to amble along. In this container that's half-heartedly holding up our arch here, I've got a lavender and another marigold, and they are pretty well settled. I'm going to leave the marigold behind, and I'm taking this lavender with me. I'm doing a little bit of a reset, because turns out I have a lot more I want to take than what I realized. So I've just been looking at these seeds. I've shifted the pots over here during the rain, unfortunately. It knocked most of the soil out and got a bit hectic, and we didn't think things were going to survive. So we just moved them out of that zone and put them on this tray on the floor here. And surprisingly enough, they are still germinating. So I'm going to be taking some of these with me. I'm taking both basils, the purple as well as the green. You can't really see it very clearly in real life, so on the camera it doesn't really show all that well. But I do have a little line of basil over here and over here coming up in the opal basil variety. I'm also going to take along the sweet basil that I planted. This shows up a little bit better. You can see the green speckles. They're all little baby basils coming up. And those will be perfect for the herb garden, which is essentially going to be made up of all of these plants here. So I've got 3 different containers here. I'm willing to let this one remain because these are nasturtiums, so I can always just take the nasturtium with me next time. This one here is green noodle beans, so they're the really long, snaky looking ones, I think. So I may take these just for a little bit of whimsy for myself. I'm going to also be taking one of the mixed pole beans, and since these are already sprouting, whereas the other ones haven't sprouted yet, I'll take these with me so that if they look like they need the ground, I'll just plant them in straight away. So what I think I'm going to do is now take the sage, because it's in a container, and put that in the center. And then I'm going to take what I've got and poke it in the gaps until this container is full. I'm still going to take the big clump of marjoram, the oregano as well. The thyme is fairly small, and so are my clumps of garlic chives. So I'll put those 2 together over here. And I will put my marigold and my lavender together down there. Take the soil and add it in, just so that they're sitting comfortably. So here I've got all my herbs packed up in this container with a few seedlings, and I think I'm off to a pretty good start as far as herb gardens go. So I'm going to have to do a little bit of a shuffle here. I am definitely keeping one of the broccolis, so one of the broccolis can come out. So let's put it here for now. I'm not taking either of the calendulas. I have my suspicions they'll be okay. Now I can add 3 more containers to that, so that'll have to be the Ford Hook Swiss Giant Chard, which is spinach to us. cauliflower. Mustard greens for sure. And the cauliflower. I am also going to take 2 of the loofahs. I think they will fit in that container with the herbs. So I do have a little bit of space. Okay. That's that container done. Now that we're done with those seedlings and collecting them and getting them ready for planting, let's look at what we can harvest from this garden. My intention is to harvest all the red ones and any that may be on the verge of changing color. There's some extremely large ones on here. I'm going to leave those for Duncan to get, maybe like a little surprise, so this garden can bring him joy as well. Perfect. Last task of the day for me is to try and support this zucchini plant a little bit better. I am going to trim off some of these leaves just because they're in the walkway, and try and lift her slightly. See if we can help her grow a bit more vertically. Okay, that'll do. I'm just going to cut off these bottom leaves that are in the way. So these leaves aren't sticky or anything. I am only taking them off so that they can keep airflow going through this area, because I don't want anything getting powdery mildew if I can help it. There we go. So I've just used a bit of gardening wire and wound it around the top of these 3. And as this plant now grows, Duncan will feed the leaves through the necessary areas, training it to stand a little bit more upright. These are going to the chickens. Right guys, so this is where I'm going to call it for the evening. I just want to say thanks for hanging out with me today. I really do appreciate it. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And if you want to, share it across your social media. It really helps get our name out there. Thanks for tuning in, guys. See you next time. Bye.